Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Going Places with Abu Maika. If this is your first time watching my videos, welcome to my channel. I am a new-ish immigrant in Canada, and I like to talk about moving to Canada, living in Canada, all things chasing the Canadian dream. Now, this video is about some myths and misconceptions that people who have never lived in Canada have about Canada. And I must include myself in there because I had these myths before I moved here with my family. And so I'm going to talk about two main themes. The number one is the weather, myths about the weather, and number two is about employment, recognition of your foreign work experience, recognition of your foreign education or credentials. Okay, so that's very important to know if you want to come here. Don't strike Canada off your list because of these myths. Know what the real deal is and make an informed decision. So want to find out more about that, do stay tuned. So some of these misconceptions and myths actually result in some people taking Canada off the list of countries they consider migrating to. But I had some of these myths and misconceptions before coming here. But fortunately, my wife and I, we had people to talk to who, told us what the real deal was. I mean, my wife will attest to the fact that, I was so fearful of the cold weather in Canada. But so myth number one is that Canada is always cold. Canada is not always cold. Canada has got 4 seasons, guys. There's summer, there's fall, there's winter, there's spring. Winter is just 1 season out of 4, but it's like, I don't know, it's what we're known for, right? So yes, winters can get pretty brutal, pretty cold, depending on where you are. But it's not always winter in Canada. I mean, I did a series on my first winter in Canada. You can watch that. I'll put the playlist link over here, and you can find out. I mean, look, guys, I moved from the hottest region in the world to the coldest, one of the coldest regions in the world, and I'm doing okay, right? So I haven't died because of the weather. I never experienced any issues with my health because of the cold weather in winter. Actually, I will say, and this is another misconception that people have about the weather here. Now, my worst season was spring. Okay, it wasn't even winter. My summer was good, warm, sunny. We did a lot of outdoor activities, went to beaches, went to like walks in the park and things like that. Summer was just beautiful. Fall, I mean, we had quite a lot of snowfall, but yeah, leaves falling off trees and all of that. And then winter was just cold. And then spring. Now, spring was my worst season because now, misconception, myth number 3. I skipped 2. I'll come back to 2, but 3 is that spring is so beautiful. Spring was the worst season for me, guys, because the weather was so unpredictable. People like spring because, I mean, I'm just gonna flip my. People like spring because, like, that's when, like, you see these trees, all the leaves are falling off. This is the fall season, right? So all the leaves are falling off the trees, and trees are looking very bare and colorless. But then spring, like, that's when the snow melts and we have more sunshine, and the trees are regaining their color and things like that, right? But and that's beautiful to see. But then the weather itself, horrible. I did a series on winter. I'll do a series on spring next spring. Hopefully I will have like the time in my schedule to do a series like that. Now, number 2 is that snow means winter. Snow is synonymous with winter. When people see snow falling, they're like, oh, it's winter. No, it does snow in winter, but it also snows in spring. It snows in fall. That's why sometimes people then think, it's always cold in Canada. Because when they see snow falling, they're like, it's so cold. Yes, snow actually falls at, and this is not to scare you, but snow actually falls at higher temperatures, like at warmer temperatures, right? So when it's very cold, like minus 25, minus 30, sometimes it doesn't even snow. It's just super cold, right? Now, so that's about the weather. 3 misconceptions about the weather. Now I'm going to talk about employment and your credential and experience recognition. There's this misconception that people have that when you come to Canada, you're sort of like abandoning your career to come and flip burgers at McDonald's and work at Walmart and drive for Uber and skip the dishes and things like that. Now, that is not the whole story. Okay, so I'm going to talk first about the credential recognition. There are some professions that are considered regulated professions. So like doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers, even tradespeople. Those professions are you can't just come to Canada with your foreign teaching experience and come and automatically get into the teaching, the school system out here, right? You have to get your credentials assessed and evaluated, and you have to register with the board. Sometimes it means you have to write exams and things like that, right? Upgrade your education to sort of like bring you on par with the Canadian standards, right? So it's often very difficult to do that while outside Canada, and it's difficult to come here to do those things. So what you then have to do is you have to find an immigration program that allows you to come here without a job. So like that's what I did, right? Express entry. You can land in Canada without a job offer, right? And then when you are here, you now have the right to live here, you have the right to study here, you have the right to work here permanently. Then you can start working on your getting your nursing license, getting your teaching license, getting your real estate license and things like that. It takes time to do those things. And while you do those things, you don't just sit at home, right? You don't. So that's when you do Uber driving and skip the dishes and work, flipping burgers at McDonald and serving coffee at Tim Hortons, So that's where you do those entry-level jobs while working on, upgrading your education, doing the exams that you need to do, doing the bridging courses that you need to do in order to practice your profession out here in Canada. Okay, so that's for regulated professions. Now, some professions are not regulated, like your marketing, your HR, your administrative kind of jobs. So those are not regulated, meaning that you don't have to register with I don't have to register with the body to work as a marketing officer, marketing manager, for any organization in Canada. But of course, for the most part, you can't just come and say, I was a marketing manager for for GT Bank in Ghana, right? So I can just come and be a marketing manager for Scotia Bank. In most cases it won't happen like that. You have to sort of like get into how things are done here. That's why some employers say we want somebody with Canadian experience. There's a different way of working out here, right? And if you don't have that, sometimes you may end up stepping on your workmates' toes and things like that, right? So getting that Canadian experience is what you then do while you work your way up the ladder. So be prepared to start from an entry-level job, but of course sometimes when employers see that you are a good performer, you tend to rise up faster in an organization's hierarchy. Okay, so that's about credential recognition and your foreign work experience. The other thing I want to mention at this point is that when you're doing express entry, you have to do a credentials assessment, educational credential assessment. Now, the reason why a lot of people say that your qualifications won't be recognized here is that employers won't care about that certificate. That's why I never recommend paying $85 for international courier fees for your WES report, because you won't need the hard copy and it's gonna be useless in Canada. Okay, I mean, I've worked for 4 employers now. Nobody has ever asked me for my educational credential assessment. Why? Because number one, I'm working in an unregulated profession, and number two, that credential assessment is only for immigration purposes, to assess your level of education, not what you studied. So your educational credential assessment will say, for example, like my degree is Bachelor of Business Studies, major in marketing. Okay, that's my degree. That's what's on my credential. But what's on my WES report is not Canadian equivalency Bachelor of Business Studies. No. Canadian equivalency is bachelor's degree, 4 years. And that's it. Bachelor's degree in what? Okay? So that WES, that ECA that you do, it's only for the purpose of assessing your level of education and evaluating, giving a Canadian equivalency to your level of education, not to what you studied. That's why you select educational credential assessment for IRCC when you're ordering that report. But if you want an ECA for employment, if you want an ECA for education, that's when they do a course by course evaluation to say, what did you study in this module? That's when they'll say, we want course descriptors for each of the courses that you did. That's when you can then get the Canadian equivalency of your foreign qualification. And that's often done by these bodies, that do professional recognition of your credentials and things like that. And then they tell you that, no, you need to take another module here, take another module here, and then we'll give you this certificate and we'll exempt you from certain courses. So it's a misunderstanding about the purpose of the ECA that you do for immigration. Okay, so I hope that clarifies things. I don't like to keep my videos very long, but I hope you found this very useful. If you liked it, hey, give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below. Share this with anybody whom you think it would help, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out whenever I upload a new video. So see you next time.